Hi everyone! Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video about a very popular Netflix series called Emilyinparis and tell you some of the things that are super cliche and some of the things that are actually true. I lived in France for about 8 months, my first time, and I've been here for about almost 2 months this time. So I've been in total for about 10 months in Paris. In total, about 10 months in France. So I live in actually like the second largest city in France. It's called Lyon. But I have been to Paris at least 7 times for periods of times. So I can tell you that I have pretty good knowledge of the French culture, and obviously don't know everything, but I do know some of the cliches. And currently I am working and I was a student before, so I could kind of relate and kind of understand some of the things where they came for the show. But I know a lot of French people are kind of mad, some of them laugh at it, but some of the stereotypes that they don't think is true. So I will go ahead and debunk those that are not true and tell you the ones that are. Okay, so first, when Emily arrives to France, she doesn't know any French, which is already not a great thing, because in France, besides Paris, which in Paris is a lot of French speaking people, but I mean, what? There's a lot of English speaking people, but mostly they speak in French. So if you approach somebody speaking in English, they will kind of get turned off, or it would bother them, like you're not even trying to speak the language of that country. It's kind of like a disrespect for the country, so you should start off by saying bonjour, or something that, I don't know, like put some effort into the place that you're going, especially if you're going to move there. And when she first gets there, she gets help and she enters, and there's no elevator in her apartment, which can actually, that one is true. A lot of places that are older, they do not have elevators, so you do have to go up the stairs. Or a place that I lived before, it was pretty old, it did have an elevator, but it's very small. You can only fit 1 or 2 people or less. And yeah, most of the time it's not working. And I lived in the 7th floor, so I actually had to go up the stairs, all the way up, all the way down. So that is true. And then also when they start the floors from 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, the first floor doesn't count. The first floor is the next floor, which would be our 2nd floor, which is different. Okay, now the more controversial stuff. When she first gets up to her room is huge. It's big, and it's considered a chambre de bon, and pas du tout. Not at all. Her room is not a chambre de bon. Her room is actually a big apartment, considering the chambre de bon, it's 9 meters square. And I don't know, and like the one she has was like 20 something, I don't know, it was huge. For example, I'll show you hoods. This you can't see, those are regular apartments, so they're saying that her apartment right here would be a normal apartment, but the very last, very tiny, you can't street because my street is different. But if you were to actually see a chambre de bon, it's like the very tip, and that one is like the smallest room, which is used to be for the people, the workers, the slaves, people who help clean and everything. That was their room. So that was one correct fact. But the chambre de bon, you will only see, like for example, my room. Let me show you. So I don't really want to show too much because it's not too clean, but you have your bed, you have like literally this is like bigger than what you will find in a chambre de bon. Your toilet, maybe this area, I have a desk area, and then I have place to put. And on 9 meters, you have half of the size of that. So definitely she had a much bigger apartment, and you will never find a chambre de bon that's actually that big. The next thing was her walking around and stepping on poop. That is actually super common. That is absolutely true. You will go outside and you will step on poop. It will happen. A lot of people here in France don't clean after their dogs, unfortunately. Yeah. So, and that's not just in Paris, that's everywhere in France. The next thing that happens is when she wants to go to her job, she gets there and it's close until like 11 or something like that, or 10, I don't even know. But no, that is absolutely not true. No company really is gonna start that late. Most companies are gonna start at 9 to 9:30. For example, I work at a school, so schools start at 8:30, 8:40. So that is absolutely not true. So it's not that late. They kind of exaggerate a lot of the things, which it makes sense and it makes for a comedy, movie series. So, but yeah, that's definitely not true. And when she's at her job, it looks like when she gets there, people start speaking in English for her. That would never really happen on a real life situation. When somebody is there and they don't speak French, maybe they'll do it for the second day, first week. But more than that, people go back to their habits and they'll go back to speaking in French. For example, when I'm with people that interact at a job situation, I speak French, so there's no problem. But I've heard like people who go into jobs and they start speaking English to help them around them, but when they speak to their other coworkers, they're always speaking in French. They're never speaking English to each other. Yeah, definitely not true. And when she's like speaking to everybody in a group in front of everybody, she's like shouting, getting so excited. That's an American thing. So that's just like an American cliche. And yes, we can be loud, but it really depends on the person. But yeah, Americans tend to be loud, where French people are more quiet, considerate of others, kind of thing. And so yeah, another thing is like as soon as she goes out, she starts meeting another expat, and she starts meeting a French person. That's like very, very lucky if you actually get to make friends outside of, like, you don't actually make effort and it just happens. That's very rare, I think, on a situation. You don't really start talking to people on the streets, or people don't actually, and then cross somebody who's American or somebody, who speaks English. That's not very common at all. Also, like going anywhere and meeting a French person, I really feel like it depends on your situation, but most times for most expats, I would say, it's really hard to make French friends. So for my experience, it's different. I came on as a student, so where I lived, I actually lived with French people, so I made French friends within my first week. So I feel like my situation is very different, because most Americans tend to stay with Americans, or tend to stay with people who are English speakers. So for other people, it takes a couple years, a year or months to even make a French friend. Another cliche, which is okay, people do not smoke in offices. Just so you know, it is illegal to smoke inside places indoors. You have to smoke outdoors. But it is true that French people smoke a lot more, I think, than Americans. A lot of people smoke here. For me, it does. I usually hate the smell of smoke, but honestly, like, you become accustomed to it, and now it doesn't bother me as much unless somebody's smoking in my face. I feel like people are really considerate and they try to smoke away from you so you don't smell it. So that doesn't really bother me too much. Another hot topic, infidelity. So okay, so I have to say, I have a lot of French friends, and a lot of my French friends, they tend to be my age or younger. So I don't have a lot of adult friends. I guess like old adult friends, like people who are older, like 30s, 40s. I don't have friends that are that age, so I can't really say for older couples, but I have been around older couples, and they're not like that at all. I don't think I've met anybody who's like really open to infidelity. Not really. They're very open-minded, they're French, but I don't think I've met anybody who would be okay with that, actually. And also, like, all my French friends, they're more like they like to be with one person and just be loyal. So I really don't agree with the infidelity thing, where I think maybe it used to be a thing, or I don't know where it even came from, to be honest. But I feel like when it comes to infidelity, like, no, I don't think people are really okay with that. But that's just my opinion, and all my French friends that we talk about all these things and they don't agree. Like, they don't think infidelity is a big thing here. So yeah. But those are some of the stereotypes, cliches of Emily in Paris. Personally, I laughed a lot because I can relate being a new person, not knowing the language, and it being so hard and stressful. She was very positive on the other hand, but yeah, it's really interesting to see that, and it was really funny, even though the cliches are very stereotypical and most of them are not really true. There's some truth to it, like some of them, but yeah. So if you have any questions about any other cliches or want me to talk about anything else, go ahead and comment down below. Go ahead and subscribe and hit that likes up. See you guys soon. Bisous.